Okay, so hopefully my thumbnail got you good, but we're gonna watch Fern's latest video of the unsolved murder in room 1046. So join me along this journey. Let's see what's with the murder of 1046. And make sure to subscribe if you want to see more.
This is Randolph Probst. He's a bellboy at the President Hotel in Kansas City.
Okay.
He just got sent to room 1046. The
Huh.
hotel's telephone operator told him that the phone is off the hook. Again.
Alright.
It's the second time he's been sent to the room that day. At 7 a.m., he knocked on the
Oh, it was Okay, Fern. Wait, all real-life scenes were reenacted with act. Oh my god, the
It's the second
production's
time he's been sent
stepping
to the
up,
room that
baby.
At 7 a.m.
Yo.
The same door for the same reason. From inside the room, a
Crazy.
deep voice told him to come in.
Okay.
When he tried to open the door, it was locked. Assuming the guest was drunk, Probst shouted through the door to put the phone back on the hook and left.
Okay.
But the phone remained off the hook. So at 8:30
What?
a.m., another bellboy, Harold Pike, was sent up to the room.
Okay.
When Pike knocked and tried to enter, he noticed something strange. The door handle turned freely, meaning it was locked from the outside. If it had
Wait,
been locked
what?
from the inside, the handle wouldn't have turned at all.
Oh.
So Pike used his passkey to enter the dim room.
Oh, let me guess it's gonna be the worst mistake of his life. Right?
There, he found a naked man lying on the bed, breathing heavily.
Uh,
There was a dark spot on the sheets next to
oh
him.
no. Is
With the
he,
shades drawn, it just looked like a shadow.
is he gone?
Pike picked up the knocked-over telephone stand and placed the phone back in the hook. When he left the room, he locked the door from the outside, leaving it just as he had found it.
What?
Now it's 11 a.m.
Wasn't the hanging telephone supposed to be a signal
again,
that
the
you
phone
should
is
turn
off
on
the
the light?
Probst knocks 3 times, but there's no answer. So he uses his key and opens the door.
Oh my god, just turn on the lights and check if it's happening
A
twice.
meter in front of him is the naked man, crouching on his knees
What?
and elbows with his head in his hands.
Okay,
Probst turns on the light.
finally.
There's blood everywhere.
Oi,
It's all
oi,
over
oi.
the walls, the bed, and the bathroom.
What?
The man has a head wound. Frightened, Probst runs out and alerts the assistant manager, Mr. M.S. Weaver. The staff call for a doctor and notify the police.
Jesus.
At around 11:15 a.m., the 2 men and another staff member
Okay.
return to the room. But they can only open the door a few inches. It seems the injured guest has collapsed against it from the inside.
But how is he
15 minutes later,
moving
Harold F.
himself?
Flanders arrives at the scene. Mr. Weaver, Dr. Flanders, and the
Okay.
bellboy, Pike, enter the room. The guest
Oh,
is no longer blocking the door. Instead, they find him sitting on the edge of the bathtub with his arms and head draped over the sink.
So there's someone moving him and like pulling a prank on him. No? What? How can someone that's like deceased be moving like that?
Strangely, there's a clothesline tied around his neck, ankles, and wrists. The doctor takes stock of his condition. He's been stabbed in the chest. The wound might have punctured his lung. His skull is fractured on the right side,
Oh,
where he was
he's
struck
gone.
multiple times.
Yeah.
And there are bruises around his neck suggesting he's been strangled.
Okay.
Miraculously,
Well, not
the
okay,
man is
but
still breathing and semi-conscious.
how's he breathing?
Cuts him loose and notes that his wounds aren't fresh. They seem to be at least 6 or 7 hours old. The blood is already
No, Fern. Be straight with me, Fern. Did you do it for the meme?
dry.
Did you do it for the meme? I swear to God, no one
Police
uses
detective
6'7",
Ira L. Johnson
ironically.
arrives. They ask the wounded man a series of questions.
How's he alive?
Who was in the room with you? Nobody. How did you get these injuries? I fell against the bathtub.
Ah, yes. If you fell against the bathtub, you somehow get a fractured lung from a stabbing and strangle
Did you try to
marks.
commit
Yes.
suicide? No.
Following this brief exchange, the
Yes,
man loses
Mr. Owen, we
consciousness.
were really.
He's taken to the hospital, but he slips into a coma. Later that night, he dies, taking his killer's identity with him to his grave.
Why?
The
Why?
murder is national news. It's called America's Strangest and Perfect Murder Crime.
It's not
The
perfect.
Kansas City police are stumped.
It's not perfect. The victim is just dumb. Nobody. Huh? Nobody. Yeah, nobody stabbed me. I fell on a knife myself.
Nearer to being the perfect crime than any other murder Kansas City
Yes,
has
it is a
seen.
perfect crime because the victim is dumb as shiza.
Fascinated people for almost a century. A few years ago, the case files were made public for the first time. Some 500 documents contain detailed witness accounts, anonymous phone calls, letters from a dead man, and a mysterious object found in an attic decades later.
Okay.
This is the unsolved murder in room 1046.
And I doubt it's ever gonna be solved because the victim's dumb.
This video is largely based in the official case files of the Kansas City Police.
Like, if you're
Some details are
dying,
based on
you have
research conducted by
nothing
Dr.
to
John
worry
Arthur
about at
Porter
this
at the
point.
Kansas City
You
Public
don't
Library.
leave anything
If you're
behind,
to
bro.
gain
Just
access to
say
the
who it
files,
was
we also reference the
while you're
1953
alive.
mystery murder room 1046 by the Newcastle Sun. Further sources can be found in the description. Oh,
Yeah.
and yes, we fully recreated the room and hallway to bring the story to life.
W. So cool.
It's afternoon, and bellboy Randolph Probst is asked to escort a new guest to his room. The guest is Roland T. Owen. He looks
Okay.
young, but his age is hard to guess. He could be anywhere from his early 20s to his mid-30s. He's well
That's
dressed
not
in a black
that bad.
overcoat with a heavy-set build and brown hair. He also has cauliflower ear, giving him the look of a boxer or a wrestler.
Yeah, he might be a boxer.
They take the
Because of
elevator
the-
all the way to the 10th floor.
Okay.
While checking in, the young man had made a very specific request. He asked for a room several floors up with a window that didn't face the street. He's assigned to room 1046.
Okay. But wasn't Owen the one that got stabbed? Hold up.
Owen tells Probst that he stayed at the
No?
nearby Mulebach Hotel the night before.
Okay.
When they enter the room, Probst turns on the light. He observes Owen taking a brush, comb, and toothpaste out of his overcoat pocket and putting them above the bathroom
Okay.
sink. Strangely, they're the only items he checked in with.
Unless
They
maybe
leave
he's
the
a
room,
detective
Probst turns
and
off
wants
the light,
privacy.
locks the door from the outside, and gives the key to Owen. They ride the elevator down to the lobby together, and Owen leaves the building.
Okay.
Around 40 minutes later, cleaning lady Mary Soptic knocks on the door of room 1046. To her surprise, Owen opens it. She had expected a female guest, so she excuses herself, telling Owen she'll call again later. But he
Okay.
doesn't seem to mind. Entering the room, Soptic notices the blinds are drawn tight. The only light comes from
Oh.
a dim desk lamp.
Okay.
Seeing the expression on Owen's face, she notes that he seems,
Worried about something or afraid.
Yeah.
as she
It's
starts
like
to clean,
awfully very gated and awfully very private for someone that only booked a
he puts on his overcoat,
hotel room.
goes to the bathroom to comb his hair.
Maybe he's
and leaves
hiding
the
from
room.
people and then he
On his way out,
failed
he
to do so.
instructs Soptic not to lock the door, as he's expecting a friend in a few minutes.
Okay.
But by the time she leaves, no one else has arrived.
And cuss.
Bringing room 1046 to life took quite a lot out of our producer, Mona.
Oh my
It's tough
god.
to wind down after adrenaline-filled production days.
That's actually so
For a lot
tough.
of you, winding down means white noise or whale sounds or doom scrolling until your phone drops on your face. You do you. Chances are you're already battling a room that's too hot, bright, and noisy.
Okay.
Eye cups
Oh
and
my god,
TV
the
being
ads.
your She
no.
notices a note on the desk.
Okay.
Dawn, I will be back in 15 minutes. Wait.
Wait. Okay.
Soptic comes back to clean again the next morning. She unlocks the door and finds Owen inside, sitting alone in the dark.
Okay.
Then a realization hits her.
I realized then, after I had unlocked this door, that the man had been locked in the room from the outside.
If he had locked it from the
Was?
inside, her key wouldn't have turned in the lock. While she's making the bed, the phone rings. Owen picks up the receiver
So,
and says,
if it's locked from the outside, is he trying to act as if the room doesn't... As if no one's in the room? I guess.
No, Dawn, I don't want to eat. I'm not hungry. I just had breakfast.
Okay.
Before hanging up, he repeats that he isn't hungry. After the call, he asks Soptic about her job and whether she's in charge of the whole floor.
Okay.
He mentions that he recently changed hotels.
So he's hiding
At
from
around 4
someone.
o'clock that afternoon,
But why
she
didn't
checks
he
to deliver
tell?
fresh towels. But this time, Owen isn't alone. As Soptic approaches the door, she hears two men talking in low tones.
Also, how many times
She
does
knocks
this
on
cleaner
the
have to
side, please
come?
deliver fresh towels.
Fresh
But
towel-
this
Bro,
time,
you've been in
Owen
this
isn't
house
alone.
more than Owen was.
As Soptic approaches the door, she hears two men talking in low tones. She knocks in the door.
Who is it?
It's the maid. I want to leave some fresh towels.
No, we don't need any. We've got enough.
Strange, she thinks. She didn't leave any towels in the room that morning. And the only reason the other man might lie is to keep her out of the room.
Okay. I mean, they succeeded, to be fair.
Robert Lane is driving down 13th Street past Lydia Avenue when he notices a man running down the street toward him. It's a cold January night, but he's only wearing shoes, trousers, and an undershirt.
Oh, Jesus.
Waving
Okay.
and shouting, the stranger asks Lane to stop. But when he approaches the car, he realizes his mistake.
I'm sorry, I thought you were a taxi.
Still,
Okay.
he asks for a ride.
Will you take me to where I can get a cab?
Lane agrees. And as the
Okay.
man hops into the back seat, he gets a closer look at him. There's a deep scratch on his left arm, and he's cupping his hands together, as if to catch blood dripping from a more serious wound.
Okay.
You look as if you've been in it bad.
The man responds with a grumbled threat to his attacker.
I'll kill that tomorrow.
The statement sticks in
What?
Lane's mind. When they reach the intersection at 12th and Troost, the young man thanks him and jumps out of the car. He runs to a parked
What?
taxi, opens the door, and honks the horn, summoning the driver from a nearby restaurant.
Okay.
Elevator operator and stand-in bellboy Charles Blocker is clocking in for his night shift.
Okay.
Shortly after, a woman enters the elevator and asks to be taken to the 10th floor. Blocker recognizes her as a commercial woman who often frequents the hotel with different men.
Huh.
She's about 5'6", 135 pounds, with black hair, and she's wearing a black
Okay.
Hudson seal coat with a light strip of fur on the collar. She
To
asks
the
about
10th
room
floor.
1026, telling Blocker that she's looking for a client, a man who is usually...
Okay.
Very prompt in his appointments.
But after a short time, she returns to the elevator, claiming she couldn't find him.
Okay. So
Blocker takes her back
something's
to the lobby,
connecting.
and she leaves the hotel. After about an hour, she's back. This time, she's accompanied by a man. He's around her height, with a slender build. He's wearing a light brown overcoat,
Okay.
brown hat, and brown shoes. They ask to be taken up together, this time to the 9th floor.
Alright.
At around 4:15 a.m.,
And the 9th
woman
floor.
returns from the 9th floor and leaves the hotel.
Oh, this
15
is
minutes
sketchy.
later,
I'm not a
the man she
detective.
arrived with follows. On the way down, he complains to Blocker that he couldn't sleep. Then he leaves.
What?
It's the middle of the night. And
Okay.
hotel guest Jean Owen is lying awake in her room 1048. She's trying to sleep, but the noises coming from the room next door are keeping her up. She can hear multiple voices sounding both male and female. They're
Okay.
talking loudly and swearing. It's so loud, in fact, that she considers calling the front desk, but she decides against it.
But can't she hear what they're exactly saying? Like, I know it's like muffled and stuff, but you can still kind of hear what they're saying,
Eventually,
right?
She falls asleep.
Ah, okay.
When she wakes up at 8 a.m., it's quiet.
Okay.
She eats breakfast and checks out, unaware that in the room next to hers, only a few hours later, a man will be found inches from death.
That's not really inches if he died
Kansas City police
in a few
detectives
hours.
Ira L. Johnson and William E. Eldridge are at a loss. They
Okay.
finished interviewing all the witnesses they could find, but their statements have led to more questions than answers. The front desk
Huh.
ledger at the President Hotel
I-
shows the
I
victim
s-
signed in as Roland T. Owen from Los Angeles. But when they checked the ledger at the Mulebach Hotel, where he told staff he had previously stayed, he was signed in as Eugene K. Scott.
Yeah, so that's what you call a undercover operation. That's a person who's hiding his identity because he doesn't want to be found by certain people. That doesn't take a
Detectives
genius to
contacted
understand.
authorities in Los Angeles, but neither
Son.
name could be found in any records.
Son, it's a fake name. Fake name because he's hiding from someone. And because he was alive, he could have just said the name of who killed him, but he didn't, so now it's an unresolved case.
They're fake identities.
Yes!
They also pursued another lead, that the victim was a professional wrestler. A week after the man's death, a wrestling promoter from Arkansas named Tony Bernardi came to identify the body. At Melody McGilly Funeral Home, Bernardi positively identified the man as one who had approached him weeks earlier for work. According to John Horner, the name he had given was Cecil Werner, another alias leading to another dead end.
He's literally trying to hide
Based on the
from
accounts
someone.
hotels made in
And
Melbourne,
why didn't he
someone
say?
allegedly locked the victim in his room. Was he being held prisoner? The
No.
Newcastle Sun claims that Owen likely didn't have the key to his room, as it wasn't found there after his death. And this wasn't the only thing that was missing. All of the victim's clothing, his toiletries, and the knife he was stabbed with had disappeared. Anything that
Obviously.
could help the police identify him.
Yes, obviously.
According to Horner, all that was left behind was an odd collection of items. A necktie label, a hairpin, a safety pin, an unlit cigarette, and a small unopened bottle of diluted sulfuric acid. The only other clue the detectives found in the room were fingerprints on the telephone stand, likely a woman's. Possibly the same woman Jean heard arguing with two men on the night of the murder. It's plausible they were left there by the prostitute seen by the elevator operator,
By the
but
what?
she was never seen entering the room. Then there's the man she was
Oh,
with.
I don't think she's gonna be seen entering the room because there were no cameras back then.
Was it the
No
same
shit.
man who had been in the room earlier, talking quietly with Owen? Could that be Don, the man that he had talked to on the phone? The one that the note was for?
Could
Did
be.
they really have business on the 9th floor? Or did they take the stairs one floor up to avoid being seen entering the 10th floor via the elevator? Were
Yeah.
they both present when Owen was bound and stabbed? After all,
I feel like there
Dr.
were like agents from CIA or like Interpol sent to hunt him down because he's some wanted player. Maybe he found out how to make crude oil into petrol and now they're hunting him.
And that the victim had already been wounded when the bellboys came knocking that morning. But when the detective asked who had hurt him, the victim simply said,
Nobody.
was he afraid? Delirious from his brain injury? Or was he maybe trying to protect his attacker?
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to protect your attacker, then you're just dumb. At this point, you're dumb.
The
Bro.
account from Robert Lane, the driver,
Like,
adds to
what
the
possible answer
confusion.
could you
According
have
Horner,
to
the
protect
detectives
your
had to
killer?
identify the body in the morgue, and Lane claimed that Owen was, in fact, the man he had given a ride to. But the detectives didn't think it was possible for the young man to leave the hotel and return dressed in his underwear. Not without somebody in the lobby spotting him. At the end of the day, the detectives have nothing. No murder weapon, no murderer.
Oh, it's
Not even the
long
victim's
burned.
identity.
It's long
Without any
gone, trust
actionable
me.
leads, the investigation grinds to a halt.
100% long gone.
Calls start. This is Mr. McGilly. He's the undertaker at the Melody McGilly Funeral Home, where the body of Roland T. Owen has been on display for around 3 months.
On display?
During this time, thousands
Why?
of people stop by in the hopes of identifying the body, without
Oh.
luck. Since no family member or relative has come forward to claim it, the time has come to bury the body in a mass grave reserved for the poor and the anonymous. But first, an obituary for the unknown man is published in the Kansas City Journal-Post.
Okay.
Horner claims that shortly after, Mr. McGilly receives an anonymous phone call. The man on the other end makes a simple request.
Don't bury Owen in a pauper's grave.
Instead, he asks
Why?
that Owen be buried in Memorial Park Cemetery. He assures the undertaker.
I will send funds to cover the funeral expenses.
The caller explains that
Okay.
Owen,
Jilted a girl he'd promised to marry.
he claims to have witnessed this, and that the three of them held a
Little meeting.
at the President Hotel.
Who is this? I'll have
Oh,
to report this to
fuck.
the police.
Unconcerned, the man simply responds.
That's all right, Mr. McGilly.
He says one last thing before hanging up.
Owen hadn't played the game fair, and cheaters usually get what's coming to them.
Oh.
Meanwhile,
Ooh. Okay. Okay. And again, why did Owen not say who it
the
was?
editor
Was
of
that
the
so
Journal-Post
difficult,
also
Owen?
receives a phone call, but this time the caller is a woman. She tells the editor that the story in the paper is wrong.
Roland Owen will not be buried in a pauper's grave. Arrangements have been made for his funeral.
Who are you? Who's calling?
Never mind. I know what I'm talking about.
What happened to Owen at the hotel?
So they might be.
He got into a jam.
So they might be the
Just as
ones
man on
that
the
killed
first
him.
call promised
Because
Mr.
if
McNeil,
the
20 days later,
woman next door
the
heard a
phone
woman
sent
and the
special
man
delivery.
arguing with Owen,
The letter
then that might be
carefully
the
addressed
guys.
using a pen and ruler. Enclosed is $25 in cash. And this isn't the only
Seriously?
anonymous delivery. 13 American Beauty roses are sent to the funeral. The florist who delivers them is instructed to include a card. It contains just the words,
Love forever, Louise.
Roland T. Owen is buried in Memorial Park Cemetery instead of in a pauper's grave.
Okay.
Police detectives are the only pallbearers. Expecting the man or Louise to show up, other officers disguise themselves as gravediggers and watch the cemetery for days. In the end, no one shows up to the funeral. No one visits the grave.
I'd imagine they're not
Are
dumb.
impossible to trace.
Except Owen, who didn't say!
Pushed in newspapers that this was a lover's quarrel gone wrong. The investigators don't buy it. They're once again at a loss. For almost 2 years, the trail goes cold.
Okay.
A certain woman randomly stumbles on a curious newspaper article titled The Mystery of Room Number 1046.
Oh.
This is Ruby Ogletree. She's looking at an article published in the American Weekly in May 1935.
Okay.
The article features a photo of a dead man, a man she recognizes immediately. The scar on his head is unmistakable. She remembers him getting it from a grease burn as a child. It's her son, Artemis Ogletree, who at the time of his death was only 17 years old.
Oh.
The article claims he was murdered over a year ago in January. The question is, if her son is really dead, then who's been writing to her all this time?
I guess someone
In
else.
April of 1934, Artemis left his hometown of Birmingham, Alabama to hitchhike across the country with a
Wait, what did I just hear? Birmingham, Alabama. Isn't Birmingham in the UK? I know there's like copies of stuff like York and New York, but what?
hometown of Birmingham, Alabama to hitchhike
Birmingham,
across the country
Alabama. I
with a
need to
friend
check that
named
out
Joe Simpson.
afterwards. What?
In late January 1935, Ruby receives a letter from her son. It's been a few weeks since he last wrote. His previous letters were always simple, telling her about his latest job prospects, his next destination, and the friends he was traveling with.
I think that fellow I told you about was going to open a business and give me half interest in it has definitely made up his mind to open in the spring. He's
Okay.
about the best friend I have. He has a big Cadillac. We are going to Excelsior Springs next week in it.
Okay.
Artemis always wrote by hand. His writing was straightforward, with little exaggeration and few flourishes.
Okay.
But this letter is different. Ruby notices that it was written using a typewriter. As far as she knows, her son never learned how to type. But the letter says otherwise.
I still practice on the typewriter when I get a chance. The big typewriter companies have branches in all large towns where you can practice all you want to.
It's plausible that he could have learned,
I don't think they
but
do.
it does strike her as suspicious.
I don't think you have branches that all large towns have
The
practice.
letter
No,
further,
that
she finds out about
don't.
his grand plans to head to New York, inspired by a conversation with a sailor.
I was
Okay.
talking to a fellow the other day. He just got back from Europe. Worked his way across and back on a big freighter.
He
Okay.
implies that he wants to travel the world and head for Europe. But first he has to make it to New York.
Europe's
Conveniently,
nice.
He gets a chance to do just that.
A man wants me to drive him and his family to New York.
The letter ends with a strange handwritten postscript.
P.S. Don't worry about Artemis. Sorry to learn he's not coming home. Lem.
Who's Lem?
Ruby receives the next letter several weeks later, this time from New York. Apparently, Artemis had driven the man, who he now identifies as Mr. Jordan, to the city. Jordan then helped him get a job, but it didn't
Okay.
work out. What stands out
That
most to her
sucks.
is the letter's outlandish detail and unusual slang.
I got poisoned on something I ate at some dump. I was laid up for a few days, and my stomach pained me a lot.
I
but
swear to
finally
God.
got over that. Then I got the
Someone's
flu and had to
character
go to
doesn't
bed for
change
almost
that
9
quick, no?
weeks, and I guess I was pretty sick.
This is inconsistent. Elsewhere, he claims to have only been in New York for 6 weeks. After making excuses for not writing sooner, Artemis expands on his plans to work on a freighter.
I think that I'll be leaving here in a few days
Okay.
to go on across the
God
big
damn, that
pond.
paper is
I
ruined.
understand
Holy
it takes
crikey.
almost a month to get across, and maybe a few more weeks to unload the ship at different ports.
He includes the address of a post office in Paris, telling his mother to send her letters to him there.
I sure want to see Paris, so I'll be heading that way all the time.
But shortly after,
Okay.
Ruby receives another letter from New York.
Well, I joined the freighter for the trip across, and they have put me to work already.
Confirming his departure, he
Okay.
clarifies one last detail.
I decided not to send my heavy coat home.
In the previous letter, he had written that he might send his winter clothes home to her. It's a curious detail. A coat also disappeared from the scene of the crime. The signature in this final letter is once again typewritten. Artemis.
Huh.
Ruby Ogletree doesn't hear from her son for another 4 months. Then, one day in August, she receives a phone call from a man with a familiar name, Mr. Godfrey Jordan.
Okay.
Ruby has a 45-minute phone call with her son's mysterious benefactor. Jordan
Go
tells
on.
her that he's just left Artemis in Cairo, Egypt, where they had met while Jordan was
Cairo?
traveling through the Holy Land.
Wait,
Another
but didn't...
inconsistency. Mr.
Wasn't
supposedly
Jordan...
met Artemis in New York.
Yeah.
He's claiming they met somewhere halfway around the world.
What?
According to him, the two formed a life-and-death bond when Artemis saved him from a band of thugs. To
Okay.
repay him, Jordan says he gave Artemis money and arranged for his passage home through Paris and London. The Newcastle Sun reports that he also claimed Artemis married a
So is he not dead already? I feel like he's already dead and someone just pretending
wealthy
for
man
him
in
to...
Cairo and was doing well. Conveniently, he even has an explanation for the typewritten letters. Apparently, Artemis lost his right thumb during the fight for Jordan's life. Because of this injury, he could no longer hold a pen to write. This also doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, but you I feel like Artemis as a character would have said this. You know, he would have said this first thing. He wouldn't be spinning this BS all over. He would have been straightforward. Mother, I was in Egypt. I lost my thumb. I can't write with my hand, so I'm gonna typewrite.
Why would he have started typing in New York even though he only lost his thumb in Cairo?
What?
He is understandably alarmed by the call.
God,
Jordan assures her that
these
Artemis
killers
is
are
fine
also
with
kinda
He urges her
dumb
not
with
to worry
their
about not
connection,
hearing from her son.
with their
But she
ideas.
doesn't buy it. The story simply seems too outlandish, so she begins an investigation of her own.
They're just
First,
spewing
she contacts
BS
the
at this
American
point.
Consul General in Cairo. She details her call with Jordan and asks them to find her son. The consul replies a few weeks later. They are unable to find any trace of him. Then she writes to the director of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, asking for any information. 10 days later, Hoover replies. A search of the Bureau files has failed to disclose any information about her son. She also writes to the Department of State to inquire about Artemis's passport. No record is found of such a document ever being issued to him, meaning legally he couldn't have traveled to Egypt. Making no progress with her inquiries, she has one last hope. Her
What?
son will make his way home for Christmas. But despite Jordan's promise, Artemis never shows up.
Huh.
Desperate, Ruby makes a last-ditch effort to find her son. She sends a letter to the president, Franklin D. Roosevelt.
The
It contains
president?
a photo, a description, and a mother's plea.
I fear he has fallen into the hands of some gang, or something has happened to him. I simply must find some trace of him.
Her letter to the White House is forwarded to the FBI. 8 days later, she again receives a response from FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover.
Please be advised that this photograph is being retained in the files here for future reference. Regarding your son, you'll be promptly notified.
The picture she sent isn't
What?
linked to the murder in Kansas City. Things don't fall into place for Ruby until she sees her dead son in that article 10 months later.
Huh. But only 2 years later? What?
The identification of Roland T. Owen as Artemis Ogletree breathes new life into the investigation. With the victim's real name, the detectives are able to retrace his steps. They discover that for several months he had stayed at a third place in Kansas City,
Oh?
the St. Regis Hotel. There, he checked in with a companion, a man who signed the register as Donald Kelso. Presumably,
Duncan.
Don.
Duncan Ogletree?
In 1937, there finally seems to be a break in the case.
Okay.
A man is arrested in New York. A career criminal who is known to have used Donald Kelso as an alias before. A man who served time in a psychiatric ward in Artemis's hometown of Birmingham, Alabama. A man convicted of a murder in New York that had striking similarities to the Ogletree killing. According to a New Yorker article from 1938, he had shot his roommate, dismembered him, and attempted to ship the nude body to Memphis in a steamer truck.
What?
His real name is
But
Joseph
how's he?
Ogden.
Wait. He served time, but why was he given the chance to be arrested? Why isn't he in the prison for life? Let's just start with that. La. Why is this man roaming free in the streets of New York?
Body to
Are we
Memphis in a
dumb?
steamer truck. His real name is Joseph Ogden.
What?
Police Chief Otto Higgins decides that the cases have too many things in common for it to be a coincidence. To prove the connection, the police send samples of Joseph Ogden's handwriting in the hotel register to the FBI. But the tests are inconclusive.
Oh.
Still, Chief Higgins is convinced that Ogden is the killer. In the minds of the police, the murder is solved.
We have the picture of Joseph Ogden and are satisfied that he is the man known to us as Don Kelso. And the letters written to his mother, all check.
Okay.
You might call it a mother's intuition. Ruby Ogletree doesn't believe Ogden is her son's killer. To her, the letters and the phone call she received were too personal. They didn't seem like the work of a random gangster, but somebody who knew her son intimately. Someone like his friend Joe Simpson.
Joe
And
Simpson
Ruby has
or the
mentioned her
woman?
suspicions about Simpson to the police before.
Mrs. Ogletree does not know of anyone her son left Birmingham with except Joe Simpson.
But the detectives have already corresponded with Simpson by letter. He claimed that he traveled with Artemis to Los Angeles, where they split up, never to meet again. Less than a month after Higgins writes that
that's
he's
easy to
satisfied
say.
Ogden is the killer, Ruby writes to him again, urging him to look into Simpson.
I really do believe Joe Simpson can give us some real information, if you could only make him talk.
But the detectives ignore her suspicions. In their eyes, his
Force
alibi
him to
doesn't
talk.
warrant further investigation. So
Why?
Ruby continues her investigation alone, determined to find an answer. Her first lead is a letter Joe Simpson had sent after it became public knowledge that Artemis was the victim in the mysterious murder in room 1046. In it, he told the same story he had presented to the police.
I was horrified to read of the atrocious slaying of your son. Artemis was a good boy, and I'm sure he wasn't involved in anything
theatrical speaking over
If
here.
there's anything I can do to aid in the solving of this case, I will be very glad to help.
This thoughtful gesture also contained an interesting postscript.
P.S. Artemis and I left Birmingham alone. Only two of us.
If
Okay,
true,
thanks.
this means that Simpson was the only person on record to have seen Artemis alive before he re-emerged under different aliases in Kansas City. Ruby becomes even
Possibly?
more suspicious when she finds out Simpson had failed to visit her while in Birmingham for work. He'd promised to do so multiple times.
But he didn't.
Clearly, he's avoiding her for some reason. She wants to speak to him face to face, so she hunts him down.
Smart, yeah.
Ruby, her husband, and a friend track Simpson to the house of one of his friends, Bill Hogan.
Okay.
Simpson's car is parked in the street, so Mr. Ogletree goes to look for him, leaving his wife and her friend behind. It takes over an hour for Joe and his friend Bill to come outside. All five sit in the Ogletree's cramped car together.
I said to Joe, well, 5 years are a long time for one to keep trying to see one. I had been told he did not intend to see me at all.
Joe tells Ruby that he had only avoided seeing her because he was afraid she would cry. It seems to her
What
that
the fuck? What? Wait, let's listen back. Wait, hold up. Fuck up.
Joe answers her question. He avoided.
I had been told he did not intend to see
Wait.
me at all.
Hear that
Joe
back.
tells Ruby that he had only avoided seeing her because he was afraid she would cry.
What the fuck is that excuse? I'm afraid to see you because I'm afraid you're gonna cry. What? That's the stupidest piece of excuse I've ever heard a human say. No way. No freaking way he actually said that.
It seems to her
If
Joe
that's
is
true, arrest that guy immediately. What the fuck are you hiding?
very carefully.
What?
Mostly, he claims not to remember. But a few key things stand out to her.
Nah, this is
First
stupid.
is Simpson's voice and speech patterns. During her call with Godfrey Jordan, she had noticed a specific verbal tic. He repeatedly prefaced his sentences with,
You see,
or,
it's like this.
sitting in the car now, Joe says something that sets alarm bells ringing.
You see, Artemis told me he wanted to go to Africa.
Right after, his friend Bill corrects him, saying,
Egypt.
Why would he correct him? Was it a slip-up? And how would these boys know about the Egypt lie she was told on the phone? The longer she hears his
wonder
voice,
how.
the more confident she becomes. Finally, she confronts Joe directly.
I looked Joe square in the eyes and I told him I would know the voice that talked to me from Memphis.
Ooh,
Sitting
Memphis.
closely together in the car, his physical reaction is difficult to hide.
He turned red, dropped his eyes, and was nervous.
When the investigation comes up, she notes a curious shift in Joe's demeanor. She says that Kansas City's chief of police called the murder in room 1046 the perfect crime. At that, Joe seems to become cocky. He laughs and says,
It is. They'll never get the ones who killed him.
Mirth is a strange reaction to your
son,
Ruby then mentions
mijo.
that her son was found nude, without any of his clothes or even his shoes. Once again, Joe just laughs and says,
They were mine.
He goes on to explain that he and Artemis had gotten kicked out of a hotel and slept in a park together. There, Artemis's shoes were stolen off his feet. The claim raises questions about the story that they had parted ways in LA, because Ruby remembers a crucial detail. Artemis had wired her about buying a new pair, and the wire had been sent from Kansas City, Missouri. If Joe remembers Artemis needing new shoes, it's likely the boys were together in Kansas City. Then Joe implies that he couldn't have been with Artemis because he was in high school during that time in 1935.
Oh, Joe, you saying bullshit, cause your girl cheated.
But Ruby sees in the school's
'Cause he
records
cheated.
that Joe was expelled for poor attendance on January 2, 1935. The same day Artemis checked into the President Hotel.
We got him!
The records also
Got
show
him.
that Joe had been absent from school for a total of 21.5 days, meaning that he also could have been absent in the days before the murder.
Cooked.
Finally, Joe claims to have stayed in touch with Artemis after they
Ladies
split
and
up.
gentlemen, we got him.
Promises Ruby he'll send her a letter he received from Artemis. A letter he claims
Was badly typed.
Ruby knows all the letters Artemis would have sent while he was with Joe were handwritten. The letters she'd received from the imposter after her son's death weren't public knowledge. Why does Joe claim that Artemis used a typewriter? Did he receive a letter from the same imposter? Or
I wonder.
is he himself the imposter?
No, he is himself, the
Talking with
imposter.
the boy,
100%.
Joe Simpson. I was reasonably convinced that he is the person that talked to me 7 months after my son was killed.
Ruby never
He's
receives a letter
definitely
from
him.
Joe after their meeting. When he fails to deliver on his promise, she writes up their entire conversation in detail and reports it to the Kansas City Police Department. But Joe is never prosecuted for the murder of her son.
What the fuck? Come on.
More than a decade passes. The murder in room 1046 is still unsolved.
Does that not make sense already that Joe kind of might be one of the culprits?
1950, the FBI analyzes the
Kinda.
handwriting samples from Joseph Ogden and Don Kelso again. This time, they come to a definitive conclusion. The handwriting doesn't match. Ogden was
Ogden.
most likely not the killer.
Wait,
Don's writing doesn't match.
it says Ogden.
Ogden was most likely
That's not Ogden, that's Ogden.
not the killer.
Okay, Fern,
Donald Kelso was
mistake.
never identified. The case goes cold once again, until a final mysterious phone call is made.
It's
over
literally
50
Joe
years later.
Swanson, bro.
Dr. John Horner is a researcher and librarian at the Kansas City Public Library.
So Joe Swanson has got 50 years to live freely with literally not serving anything and just killing a man.
Claims that
Okay,
one day he
great.
receives an anonymous phone call.
Fucking
from
hell,
upstate.
New York.
The caller recounts clearing out the possessions of an elderly person who had recently died. Among the things they found was a box. Inside was a collection of newspaper clippings about the murder of Roland T. Owen. But there's more. The box also contained something mentioned in the newspaper stories. Horner asks what the item is,
Great.
but the caller refuses to identify it. Without giving their name, the caller hangs up and disappears.
Ah. Well, let's be fair, let's be honest. I feel like it's Joe Swanson that did this. And because police decided not to take action onto it and left it unattended, Joe Swanson over here lived his happily ever after and no one got to see it. And the murder is still unsolved. And our boy Ogletree decided not to say who it was before dying, so no one got prosecuted. So yeah, good job for Ogletree's stupidity. I feel bad for the mother because she actually tried to understand what's happening, but because everything's mostly seemingly corrupt, it's never gonna get solved. But yeah, let me know how you felt about this video. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!